So, Google just dropped something that's a pretty big deal for marketers. It's a new way to see if all your brand building efforts are actually paying off. It's called the branded query filter in Search Console. And in this explainer, we are going to break down exactly how you can use it to get a real sense of your brand's digital footprint. You know the question, right? It's the one that probably keeps you up at night. You're running the ads, you're creating all this great content, you're building a community, but how do you know if more people are actually looking for you by name? For years, that's been a really tough thing to pin down. Well, until now. It seems Google has just handed us a direct barometer for brand growth. Okay, so let's get right into it. To really understand what's going on here, we have to be crystal clear on what this new filter is actually looking at. So let's define the core concept, the branded query. To put it simply, a branded query is just any search that has your brand name in it. Now, this could be your company name, sure, but it could also be a specific product name that's associated with you, or even some common misspellings that people type in. The whole point is this new filter isolates every single search where the user already had you in mind when they started typing. So Google added a filter. Big deal, right? Well, actually, yeah, this is a genuine game changer. Why? Because it's not just another column in a spreadsheet. It's a brand new lens that lets you split your search traffic into two totally different stories. And each one tells you something absolutely vital about your marketing. And here is the core distinction, and it's so powerful. On one side, you've got branded queries. Think of this as your brand's report card. It's a direct measure of your awareness, your familiarity, your brand's strength. On the other side, you have non-branded queries. This is your SEO report card. This tells you how well you're competing for those general, top-of-funnel keywords. For the very first time, we can see both of these clearly separated. And having this separation, it's like a strategic superpower. You finally get a clean, unmistakable signal of brand demand. Let's say your traffic dips. Is that an SEO problem, or is it a brand problem? Now you can tell in an instant. This lets you forecast way more accurately, and it can even act as an early warning system if a competitor is starting to creep into your territory. All right, so theory is one thing, but how do we actually use this data? Let's roll up our sleeves and get into the practical, actionable steps you can start taking today. The trick here is to be methodical. First up, measure. Overlay your marketing calendar on top of your branded query data. Did you sponsor a podcast last month? Did you see a spike in searches for your brand right after? Boom, that's your ROI. Second, diagnose. When traffic takes a nosedive, you can now pinpoint the cause. Was it a Google algorithm update that hit your SEO, or did a competitor's big ad campaign just steal some of your thunder? Third, track. What other words are people searching for along with your brand name? This tells you what your brand is really known for in the wild. And finally, reinforce. As your brand gets bigger, you can literally watch that momentum build right here in the data, confirming your strategy is working. Okay, now, before we all get a little too carried away, it's really important to know the limitations here. This tool is brand new, and Google has been pretty clear about a few things it can and, well, can't do just yet. This was one of the very first questions marketers and SEOs started asking. I mean, we all have our own unique product names, common typos, or other brand variations we're always tracking. So the big question is, can we just add them to Google's list ourselves? And the answer, straight from Google's own John Mueller, is a pretty straightforward no, with a little bit of a wink. It's all automated. His advice is simple, but it's also kind of profound. If you want Google to see something as part of your brand, you have to convince the world that it is first. All right, the next logical question is about history. This is great for going forward, but can we go back in time? Can we analyze our brand performance from last year, or maybe the year before that? And unfortunately, the answer there is also a no. This data only starts from around February 21st, 2024. It's a forward-looking tool, which means you can't apply this cool new filter to any of your historical data before that date. And finally, just a heads up, not everyone is going to see this filter right away. First, it's not available for sub-properties, so you can't just isolate traffic to your blog, for example. And second, if your site has a pretty low number of search impressions overall, the filter might not even show up for you until your traffic grows a bit more. So, keeping those limits in mind, let's zoom out one last time. What is the single most important thing to take away from all of this for your brand strategy? What's the bottom line? It all boils down to this.
For the first time, you have a direct, measurable line connecting all your brand building activities, your PR, your social media, your ads, to actual tangible demand in Google search. This is the clear performance indicator you can finally track, report on, and use to really justify your brand marketing budget.
And that leaves us with one final and I think crucial question for the future. As AI-powered search starts giving more direct answers, it might reduce clicks to websites overall. So in that world, will the one thing that can't be easily replicated, a strong brand that people actively look for by name, become the single most important digital asset you can possibly have? It's definitely something to think about.